Do you have any expired cake for my daughter? Tomorrow is her birthday.
We don't sell garbage to garbage.
Do you have any expired cake for my daughter? Tomorrow's her birthday? The words left Evelyn Ford's lips like a fragile prayer, soft, almost swallowed by the hum of Saturday bustle. The bakery owner's eyes swept her up and down, scanning every frayed edge of her faded scrubs, the scuffed tips of her secondhand shoes. And the little girl, clutching her hand, gripping as if letting go might dissolve her. Sneer tugged at the corners of his mouth, sharp as broken glass. We don't sell garbage to garbage, he spat. Her son, standing a step behind the counter, leaned forward, voice dripping with disdain. You people always want something for nothing. Take your welfare kids somewhere else. We don't serve your kind. Destiny's small frame trembled. Her soft voice quivered. Mommy, what did I do wrong? A white woman in pearls, standing nearby, whispered behind her gloved hand. Can you believe she brought that child in here? The words slithered through the air, like venom. The son's hand shot out, grabbing the pink cake Destiny had been staring at with wide-eyed wonder. He slammed it into the trash can, frosting splattering, sugar roses collapsing into sticky ruins. Get out before you stink up the place. Evelyn lifted her sobbing daughter, brushing invisible dust from her shoulders, her own heart cracking into jagged pieces. She walked out, head held high, silent as the world's judgment pressed in from every angle. No one stepped forward to defend them. No one murmured a single word of comfort. Only at the back of the line, where the crowd murmured like an ocean, a quiet old man crushed his coffee cup in his fist. No one knew who he was. In 48 hours, though, everyone here would be begging her for forgiveness, the universe itself conspiring to set things right. Earlier that morning, Evelyn had counted her money 3 times. Once at the kitchen table while Destiny slept, the crumpled bills spread under the flickering bare bulb, whose light danced and shivered every time someone upstairs flushed the toilet. Once on the bus, shielding the fragile stack of bills from curious eyes, pretending to check her phone while her fingers ran the numbers again, muttering silently, willing them to add up. And once more standing outside the bakery, her fingers stiff with anticipation despite George's warmth, praying she'd miscounted, hoping for a tiny miracle wrapped in copper and silver, $11.37. She'd even found 2 quarters wedged deep between the couch cushions while searching for Destiny's missing sock. And for a fleeting moment it felt like a sign, a whisper from the universe that today might be different, that maybe, just maybe, hope could sneak past the barriers of her life. The bell above Main Street Bakery chimed as she stepped inside, Destiny's small hand clutching hers like a lifeline. The air was sweet and alive, a heady perfume of freshly baked bread. Cinnamon tickling the nose, chocolate cooling on racks near the back, promising indulgence. Crystal chandeliers glimmered above, scattering warm light across marble countertops and polished display cases. The bakery exuded wealth, tradition, privilege a world Evelyn had glimpsed only through foggy glass, from the outside, always a visitor, never belonging. Destiny's eyes widened to the size of dinner plates, reflecting rows of gleaming cakes, pastries, and desserts behind spotless glass. Her grip tightened. "Mommy, look," she whispered, bouncing on the balls of her feet, pointing at a pink cake adorned with a sugar princess in a flowing ball gown. Glittering sugar sparkles scattered like tiny stars. "That one's so pretty. It has a princess on it. And look at the sparkles." Destiny's voice sang with wonder. Evelyn's stomach nodded. She recognized the cake immediately, the very same one she had memorized during the early morning walks to the bus. Stop at 5:47 a.m. Heading to her first shift at Sunrise Senior Care, every detail had been etched into her mind. The delicate lacework of frosting, the perfect sugar roses, the way the princess seemed to dance in her gown. $42. More than 3 times the money she had in her purse. "It's beautiful, baby," Evelyn said softly, smoothing Destiny's damp braids from the rushed bath earlier, a bath she had cut short to give her daughter breakfast. "Let Mommy look around first, okay?" The line stretched almost to the door. Saturday afternoons brought out the crowds, families buying treats for weekend indulgences. Evelyn's eyes scanned the waiting customers, every single face white. Dressed in neatly pressed blouses, designer jeans, handbags that cost more than her monthly rent. Easy smiles exchanged between neighbors who had known each other for decades. The air smelled of sugar, but also entitlement. Every detail reminded her of the gulf between them, a world she yearned for, yet felt barred from entering. She was the only black face in the bakery, but Evelyn had grown accustomed to it. Madison, Georgia, wasn't the kind of town that advertised its demographics on welcome signs. You just felt them subtly in the air, in the pauses of conversations that hesitated half a beat when she entered a room, in the way clerks tracked her hands too closely at the checkout counter, their eyes flicking like radar, measuring, judging, in the smiles that curved politely on lips but never reached the eyes, leaving faces hollow, rehearsed. Evelyn scanned the display cases while waiting, hunting for yellow sticker small. Bright promises of day-old items reduced for quick sale. Every grocery store had them. Every bakery should. Her gaze landed on a pink cake near the back, a handwritten sign perched precariously beside it. Today only 50% off. Hope fluttered in her chest like a tiny bird. $17.50. Still too much. Still $6 more than she had. She swallowed hard, scanning the shelves again. They had something older, she thought. Something that would be discarded anyway. It didn't have to be perfect. It just had to exist. Something with frosting and candles that could whisper, "I tried." She'd done this dance before, at the grocery store on 5th Street, where the manager sometimes let her take bruised fruit. At the downtown deli, where the evening clerk set aside the end pieces of ham for her. There was an art to asking, humble enough to appear grateful, confident enough to never seem desperate. Destiny hummed a birthday tune under her breath, swinging Evelyn's hand gently like a pendulum. A rhythm that mirrored the heartbeat of 7 years. 7 years of Evelyn working 2 jobs, Sunrise Senior Care from 6 in the morning to 2 in the afternoon, then cleaning houses from 4 to 8 at night. 7 years of missing school plays and recitals, of falling asleep mid-dinner, of waking before dawn, feeling as if she had never slept at all. 7 years of stretching every dollar, promising next year would be better, only to find next year arriving with the same relentless hardship. Evelyn watched her daughter's face light up with each confection in the case and thought, she deserves a cake. Just once, she deserves a real birthday cake from a real bakery. Not a box mix slathered with grocery store frosting. Not the midnight cupcakes made from scratch with trembling hands because she couldn't afford anything else. A real cake. The line shuffled forward. Evelyn's eyes drifted to the walls behind the counter, adorned with photographs frozen in sepia and black and white, a timeline of Thornton family bakery history, established 1983. 3 generations, all white. Smiling proudly in front of the very counter she now approached, aprons dusted with flour, holding a world she had never belonged to. The bakery wasn't just a shop. It was a Madison institution, where every wedding, graduation, and milestone had been celebrated for 40 years. Everyone knew the Thorntons, everyone except her. The bell above the door chimed again, but Evelyn didn't turn. She rehearsed her words in her mind, careful, precise. "Excuse me? Do you have any day-old items? Anything you're about to throw away? I can pay a little something." A man entered, white, maybe 60, with gray hair in need of a trim, a worn flannel shirt tucked into dusty khaki pants. Scuffed work boots crunched softly against the tile. A paper coffee cup steamed in his hand, the aroma curling up in lazy tendrils. He didn't speak to anyone, didn't nod or exchange pleasantries with the locals. He merely joined the end of the line, eyes flicking to the menu board above. Evelyn barely noticed him. No one else did either. Just another old man, invisible in a room full of people who had never counted quarters or rationed pennies. An elderly woman near the front of the line bent down, her smile warm, real. "Is it your birthday, sweetheart?" she asked. Destiny's face lit up like sunlight, radiating pure joy. "Tomorrow, I'm going to be 7. 7. My goodness, that's wonderful. Are you having a party?" "My mommy promised," Destiny replied, looking up at Evelyn with complete, unshakable trust, the kind of trust that made Evelyn's chest ache with equal parts love and fear. She had no decorations at home, no presents wrapped in bright paper, no guests invited because feeding them was already a stretch. But she had made a promise. She would keep it, somehow, some way. The line creaked forward. Customer left with a white box tied in string, followed by another. Evelyn's heart thumped in her chest as she reached the counter. There, behind the register, stood Peggy Thornton, the owner, matriarch. The very woman whose face stared down from all those sepia photographs, Mid-60s silver hair pinned back in an elegant twist, reading glasses dangling on a beaded chain. She looked up, offering a professional customer service smile, the kind that could charm anyone. But the smile faltered slightly when it landed on Evelyn. A subtle tightening around the eyes, a minuscule pause, like a record skipping half a beat. Evelyn felt it immediately, the way one senses a shift in air pressure before a storm. Evelyn drew a steadying breath, her voice soft, respectful, deliberate. "Excuse me, do you have any expired cakes? Anything you're about to throw away?" "It's for my daughter's birthday," Evelyn said softly, trying to steady her voice. Peggy's eyebrows lifted toward her hairline. Her gaze drifted down to Destiny, then back to Evelyn. "Expired cakes." Evelyn's words were careful, respectful. "Yes, ma'am. I can pay something. Whatever you think is fair." Peggy's lips pressed into a thin, taut line. "We throw those out."
Elf regulations.
"I understand," Evelyn said quickly. "But if you're throwing them away anyway, maybe I could." I said no. Peggy's voice sharpened, slicing across the bakery. The woman behind Evelyn paused mid-text, phone forgotten in her hands. "We don't do that here." A door swung open behind Peggy. A man appeared, mid-30s, sharp jawline, mirroring his mother's presence, commanding. Son and heir, apparent. He wore a flour-dusted apron and an expression that telegraphed every word he had just heard. "Problem, Mom?" he asked, voice loud, deliberate, performative. "Just explaining our policies?" His eyes swept over Evelyn, deliberate, slow, cataloging her faded scrubs, the small child pressed against her chest. "This isn't Walmart." His words carried weight. "If you can't afford to shop here, there's a dollar store 2 blocks down. Might be more your speed." The words hit like stones dropped into still water. Evelyn's cheeks burned hot, but her voice remained steady. "I wasn't asking for charity. I was offering to pay." "For garbage," Mitchell snorted, incredulous. "Lady, we have standards. This is a family establishment." He turned to his mother, loud enough for the waiting customers to hear. "We dainty want certain kinds of people thinking they can just walk in here asking for handouts. Certain kinds of people." The phrase hung in the air like poison gas. Some customers pretended to be absorbed by their phones. One woman pulled her child closer. A man studied his watch with exaggerated attention. Destiny tugged on Evelyn's hand. "Mommy, can I have the pink one?" She pointed at the 50% off cake, hope still trembling in her voice. "Not today, baby," Evelyn whispered, voice cracking despite her efforts to stay composed. Mitchell followed Destiny's gaze. His expression shifted not sympathy, but a darker calculation, decision being made. "You know what?" He stepped toward the display case, keys jangling. "Let me make something perfectly clear." He opened the glass door, fingers curling around the pink cake Destiny had adored, the one marked for sale, the one she had dreamed of. He held it up, turning it for all to see. "This cake. This is going in the trash right now, so there's no confusion." The cake landed with a wet thud inside the garbage can. Pink frosting smeared against black plastic bags, sugar roses crushed under coffee grounds. Destiny's face collapsed. Her lip trembled. Then the tears came, small at first, then building into hiccuping sobs. "Mommy?" Voice cracked high and bewildered. "Why did he throw my cake away?" Silence swallowed the bakery. No one moved. No one spoke. A woman near the door looked like she wanted to intervene, mouth opening, but Mitchell's flat stare froze her. She turned away. Evelyn's hands shook as she lifted Destiny into her arms. "It's okay, baby. Let's go." Mitchell brushed his hands together, satisfied. Problem solved. Peggy said nothing, offered no apology, merely watched as Evelyn carried her sobbing daughter toward the door. At the back of the line, the man in the flannel shirt hadn't moved. His weathered face betrayed nothing, no shock. No anger, but his right hand had clenched his paper coffee cup so hard the lid popped off.
Oh.
Brown liquid pooled on the tile floor, but he didn't flinch, didn't wipe it away. His eyes stayed fixed on Mitchell Thornton, with a silent intensity that could have made a younger man's blood run cold. He set the crushed cup on the nearest counter and walked out behind Evelyn. Footsteps unhurried but deliberate. Outside, George's warm sun kissed Evelyn's skin, but she felt cold down to her bones. She sank onto the old wooden bench by the bakery entrance, cradling Destiny, who still trembled in her arms. Evelyn let herself break just for a moment, sobs suppressed behind clenched teeth. Destiny's cries had softened to wet hiccups. "Why was he so mean, Mommy? Did I do something wrong?" "No, baby," Evelyn whispered, quickly wiping her own tears. "You didn't do anything wrong at all. Then why?" Destiny's voice trembled. "Why did he throw away the pretty cake?" "Because some people are cruel," Evelyn said softly. "Because I can't give you what you deserve. Some people forget how to be kind, baby. That's about them, not you. It's never about you." A calm voice drew Evelyn's attention. "Ma'am." The man from the line stood a few feet away, hands empty now. He didn't step closer, simply waited. "Mind if I sit?" He gestured to the far end of the bench. Evelyn said nothing, but didn't refuse. He sat, leaving space between them. For a long moment, neither spoke. Then he turned to Destiny, gentle now. "Hey there, sweetheart." Destiny peeked from Evelyn's shoulder, eyes still glistening. "I heard it's your birthday tomorrow. Is that right?" A small nod. "How old are you going to be?" 7, she whispered. 7. That's a big one, he said slowly, as if cataloging it carefully. "You know what I think?" "What?" Destiny's curiosity outweighed her tears. "I think 7-year-olds deserve the best birthday cakes in the world, and that pink cake in there wasn't good enough for you anyway, really?" "Really? A princess like you deserves something far more special." A ghost of a smile crossed Destiny's face. Evelyn watched, bewildered and cautiously hopeful. Then the man looked at her, eyes sharp, full of something deeper than pity recognition. "I'm sorry for what happened in there. For what they did. That wasn't right. None of it." Evelyn felt the weight of the day pressing against her chest like a lead vest. "It's fine," he said gently, voice warm but carrying steel underneath. "We're used to it. You shouldn't have to be used to it," Evelyn whispered, her throat tight. "No one should." His words landed like hammers wrapped in velvet. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a plain white card, edges crisp, just a phone number scrawled in blue ink. "Call this number tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock sharp. Tell them Edward sent you." He extended the card toward her. "Destiny will have her birthday cake. A real one." Evelyn stared at the card, confusion and disbelief mingling in her chest. "Why would you do this? You don't even know us." "Because no child should go without a birthday cake," he said firmly, brushing off his khakis with a careful precision. "And no mother should ever be treated the way they treated you today. Not in my town." "Your town?" Evelyn murmured, but he was already walking away toward a beat-up pickup truck parked across the street. Destiny leaned against her, wide-eyed. "He was nice, Mommy. Yeah, baby."
He was.
Evelyn tucked the card into her pocket, unsure if she would call, unsure if she could trust a stranger's promise. And yet, for the first time all day, a fragile, trembling thing bloomed inside her chest. Hope. That night, Evelyn didn't sleep. She lay in the darkness of their one-bedroom apartment, listening to Destiny's soft, even breaths beside her on the mattress they shared. The mattress was secondhand, bought 3 years ago, when Destiny had outgrown the crib. Above, the water stain on the ceiling had spread another inch, a slow-growing map of the neighbor's leaky pipes. The radiator clanged like a restless ghost every few hours, rattling the thin walls. The card lay on the nightstand, pale against the scarred wood. Evelyn picked it up, looked at it, put it down, looked again a dozen times. Just a phone number, in blue ink. No name, no explanation. Who does that? She thought for the 100th time. Gives a stranger a card and promises a birthday cake. What does he want in return? Nothing good comes free. She learned that lesson young from her mother working 3 jobs. From her father who promised to come back, and never did. From every man who offered help with one hand while reaching for something else with the other. But what's the worst that could happen? The thought surfaced unbidden, she calls. The number is disconnected. A cruel joke. She's exactly where she is now, no worse off. She thought of Destiny's face in the bakery, the way her smile had crumbled, the confusion in her voice. Why did he throw my cake away? At 7:45 the next morning, Destiny's 7th birthday, Evelyn sat at the kitchen table, hand trembling as she dialed the number. It rang twice. Lancaster Family Office. Good morning. How may I help you? Someone named Edward told me to call this number, Evelyn said, voice quivering slightly. A brief pause, then keys clicked in the background. The voice softened. Yes, ma'am. We've been expecting your call. May I have your address? Expecting her call? Evelyn's heart thumped. Whatever she had imagined, disconnected number, scam, cruel joke, it wasn't this. She gave her address, voice uncertain. The woman thanked her and hung up. Lancaster. The name tugged at her memory, appearing on brass plaques around town. The library she visited with Destiny every Saturday, the community center, the courthouse. Old money, old family. Doors that opened for some, not for her. 2 hours later, a black SUV with tinted windows glided to a stop outside their building. Evelyn watched from the window, heart hammering as a driver in a crisp suit stepped out, too polished for this neighborhood. Mr. Patterson from 3B peeked out of his fire escape in his bathrobe, jaw slack. Mrs. Rodriguez on the sidewalk stared, toddler in arms. The driver began unloading box after box, pink boxes, gold boxes, more than she could count, and dozens of balloons, pink and gold, bobbing and twisting in the morning breeze. Destiny appeared beside her, still in pajamas, eyes wide. What's all that? Is it a party? A knock at the door? Evelyn's hands shook as she reached for the knob. The driver held a massive pink box, nearly 2 feet across. Behind him, more boxes, balloons, and wrapped presents with shimmering silver bows. Mrs. Ford. Special delivery for Miss Destiny. Happy birthday, young lady. Evelyn opened the largest box. Inside, a 3-tiered cake, pink and gold. Adorned with real flowers, roses preserved in edible glaze, petals soft and perfect. Destiny written in elegant gold script, each letter flawless. A crystal princess crowned the peak, scattering rainbows across the ceiling. It was the most beautiful thing Evelyn had ever seen. More beautiful than the bakery cake she'd memorized, more beautiful than anything she'd ever dreamed of giving her daughter. Destiny screamed, a sound of pure, unfiltered joy that probably woke half the building. Is that mine, Mommy? Is that for me? It's a real princess cake? And there was more. A princess dress in Destiny's size. Pink tulle with a satin ribbon. Books, crisp hardcovers, smelling of fresh ink. Art supplies, real brushes, a child-sized easel. And in the corner of the last box, a pink and white bicycle with training wheels and streamers. Something Destiny had wished for 2 years. Evelyn opened a delicate envelope, handwriting precise and careful, hands trembling. Dear Evelyn, it read. Every child deserves to feel special on their birthday. A daughter's lucky to have a mother who loves her the way you do. My late wife, Margaret, was a lot like you. She spent her life caring for others as a nurse, as a volunteer, as the heart of our family. She taught me that dignity isn't given by others. It's something you carry within, something no one can take away. But she also taught me that when we have the power to protect someone's dignity, we must act. Watching in silence makes us complicit. Hope Destiny has the birthday she deserves. Warmly, Edward. Evelyn read it 3 times, each word sinking deep. Then she sank onto the mattress, surrounded by more abundance than she had seen in years, cradling Destiny in her arms, and cried, not sad tears, not frustrated tears, just release. Like something clenched tight inside Evelyn for years had finally unclenched, letting all the weight of worry, fear, and exhaustion flow outward. Edward Lancaster's farmhouse sat on 40 acres outside Madison. Georgia land his grandfather had purchased in 1932, when it had been nothing but red clay and cotton fields. The house itself was modest, white clapboard in need of paint green shutters his wife had picked out 30 years ago, and a wraparound porch lined with rocking chairs where they spent evenings together sipping tea, talking quietly until she couldn't tea anymore. Nothing ostentatious. Nothing to suggest that the man inside owned half the commercial property across 3 counties. Edward parked his old pickup in the gravel driveway and paused, hands still on the wheel, watching the sun sink behind the tree line. Margaret would have done something, he thought. She never would have just stood there watching. She would have spoken up in that bakery. She would have protected that woman and her daughter the way no one ever protected her. He went inside. The screen door creaked like it always had for 20 years. He'd meant to oil it, meant to fix it, but hadn't. And he didn't want to change anything she'd touched. The kitchen looked exactly as she'd left it. Yellow curtains she'd sewn one long summer dishes she'd fallen in love with at an antique shop in Savannah. Photographs covering the refrigerator like a living collage of their life together. Their daughter's first steps, their 30th anniversary. Margaret accepting an award for her literacy program surrounded by children she'd taught to read. He couldn't change any of it. Some people said he should move on. Those people had never lost someone who had made them who they were. In his study, one wall was a gallery of mismatched frames. Margaret at their wedding in 1975, white dress her mother had made from secondhand lace. Him in a rented suit too large, both certain they would love each other forever. Margaret with their daughter at every age. Margaret in a hospital bed 2 weeks before her end. Still smiling, still holding his hand, still telling him not to worry. He picked up the phone. Daniel, it's Edward. Pull the lease file for Main Street Bakery, the Thorntons' property, and check if there have been any complaints filed against them in the past 2 years. An hour later, Daniel called back. 3 formal complaints in 18 months, all from black customers. Rude treatment, refused service, racial remarks. All marked resolved. No action, no action. As if those complaints had never happened. As if the experiences of those people didn't count. Edward wrote down every name, every date, meticulously. That evening, he sat by the window. Margaret's photograph cradled in his hands. 35 years, he whispered. 35 years I watched people treat you like you were less than you were. In stores where clerks followed you. In restaurants where we waited twice as long. At the doctor's office. In our own church, Margaret, where women whispered behind your back because you'd married a white man. He touched her face in the photo. I couldn't stop it. Too much. Too many people. Too many small cruelties dressed up as tradition, but I can stop this. Is one. I can make them see. The party was small. Evelyn, Destiny. Little Kesha from next door, Mrs. Patterson with paper plates. But it was perfect. Destiny twirled in her new princess dress until she was dizzy. When they brought out the cake, she held up her hand. Wait, we have to say grace first. Hands around the tiny kitchen table, Destiny whispered, "Thank you, God. For Mommy, and for my birthday, and for the nice man with the coffee. I hope he's having a good day too. Amen." Evelyn couldn't speak past the lump in her throat. She just held her daughter's hand and let the tears fall. Meanwhile, Edward sat at his desk, files spread around him. Lease agreements, Main Street Bakery, 38 years of tenancy, renewal due in 45 days. He picked up a yellow sticky note, wrote one word on it, and pressed it to the file. No, Daniel. Schedule a meeting with the Thorntons. Monday, 10 a.m. Don't tell them who they're meeting with. He looked at Margaret's photograph again. For you. All of it. For you, the complaints file was thicker than Edward expected. He spread the documents across his desk. Names, dates, specific incidents. Teresa Williams, October, told an item was reserved. Watched a white woman buy it 5 minutes later. Mitchell suggested she might be more comfortable shopping elsewhere. Jerome Baptist. March, followed around the store by Mitchell. Repeatedly asked if he needed directions to the exit. Denise Crawford, June, tried to return stale bread, accused of trying to scam the bakery. Mitchell threatened to call the police. 3 complaints. 3 black customers. All resolved. No action taken. Edward picked up the phone. Mrs. Williams. My name is Edward Lancaster. I own the building where Main Street Bakery operates. I'd like to hear what happened to you there. Silence. Then, cautiously, she spoke. Who did you say you were? Edward replied calmly. Edward Lancaster. Lancaster Properties. This isn't a trick. I just want to know what happened. She told him everything. The humiliation, the dismissal, Mitchell's smirk. I've been buying bread there 15 years. My mother bought bread there. After that day, I never went back. I believe you, and I'm sorry it happened, Edward said quietly. Are you going to do something about it? Yes, ma'am. 2 more calls. 2 more stories. 2 more people made to feel less than human in a building his family had owned for generations. Edward opened his notebook and wrote, Mitchell Thornton. This isn't Walmart. More your speed. This might be more comfortable elsewhere. Peggy Thornton. Certain kinds of people. Wrong part of town. Actions destroyed merchandise to prevent sale to black customer in front of child pattern. At least 4 documented incidents in 18 months. He closed the notebook, looked at Margaret's photo. All those years, all those times she came home quiet. And when he asked what was wrong, she'd shake her head. "It's fine, Edward. I'm used to it." She shouldn't have had to be used to it. Edward checked his watch. Meeting in 90 minutes. He laid out his clothes. Same flannel shirt, same khakis, same boots. He wanted them to see exactly who they'd dismissed, the man in line behind her. The man nobody noticed, the man who owned the ground they stood on. Monday morning, Peggy Thornton arrived at Lancaster Property Management at 9:55 a.m., 5 minutes early, dressed in her Sunday best, navy blazer, floral blouse, good pearls. Mitchell followed in pressed khakis and a sport coat, clearly annoyed. "I don't see why we have to be here," he muttered as they signed the visitor log. "We've never missed a payment in 38 years. Shush." Peggy smoothed her skirt with nervous hands. "Just be polite. We need this renewal. Terms haven't changed since your grandmother signed the original." The receptionist led them down a carpeted hallway to a corner office. It's plain and unassuming. No nameplate on the door. "Mr. Lancaster will be with you shortly." They sat in leather chairs facing an empty desk and waited. 1 minute. 5. 10. Mitchell shifted impatiently. "This is ridiculous. What kind of business person keeps people waiting like this? Who do these people think?" The door opened behind them. A man stepped in. Gray hair needing a trim, flannel shirt tucked into old khaki pants, work boots scuffed and dusty. He looked like a maintenance man, not a property owner. Peggy's forced professional smile dissolved into uncertainty the moment Edward entered the room. The corners of her lips twitched like a mask that no longer fit. "Excuse me," she said, voice tight, polished but edged now. "Shh. We're waiting for Mr. Lancaster, the property owner. Could you tell him we're here?" Edward took 3 steps forward, deliberate boots whisper scuffing the carpet. "I am Edward Lancaster." The room snapped still, like someone had hit pause on reality. Mitchell's reaction was immediate and visceral, brows pinching, pupils dilating, breath snagging audibly in confusion, followed by recognition, then horror. The coffee cup, the bakery line, the silence, the exit without a word. It all slammed into place like a closing trap. Peggy, however, blinked twice, jaw slack, still floating in confusion. "I'm sorry, sir. There must be some mistake. We were told we'd be meeting with the property owner. You are?" Edward shut the door behind him with a quiet click. The soft sound felt louder than a slam. He didn't ask them to sit. They didn't move anyway. He crossed the room, tugged the chair back, and sat slowly enough to turn the motion into a verdict. "I am Edward Lancaster. My family has owned this building since 1956. My grandfather acquired it from the original developer. My father personally maintained it for 30 years. I have managed the Lancaster properties for 3 decades. Each sentence was smooth granite, measured, final. Then the swerve. Saturday afternoon, Peggy's pearls seemed to gleam colder against her paling skin. "Your bakery," Edward continued. A mother entered with her daughter, little girl turning 7 the next day. The mother asked, and I will quote her exactly, "Do you have any expired cakes? It's for my daughter's birthday." She wasn't begging. She was offering to pay. Peggy's breath trembled as she rose halfway, hands fluttering helplessly. "Mr. Lancaster." "I can explain." Edward opened a weather-creased leather notebook stamped faintly with Margaret's initials. Not fancy, not dramatic, but personal enough to sting. He read it like evidence in a courtroom nobody was allowed to object in. Mitchell's words, "This isn't Walmart. There's a dollar store 2 blocks down. This might be more your speed." Peggy's words, "We Dantee want certain kinds of people thinking they can walk in here asking for handouts." And the phrase that landed hardest, he lifted his eyes and locked onto Mitchell's like a man pinning guilt to a board. Certain kinds of people. Peggy's tears slicked her makeup, black mascara bleeding in 2 thin rivers down her cheeks. The silence around her sobbing was humiliation itself. "For 35 years, Edward said, I watched people treat my wife, a brilliant, stunning black woman named Margaret Lancaster, exactly the way you treated Evelyn Ford the other day. Clerks shadowing her in stores like she was a threat. Waiters deprioritizing her existence in restaurants. So-called righteous women whispering like vultures at church bake sales the day after our interracial wedding. I saw it. all of it. He rose, crossed to the window. Madison's quiet main street glowing below like a stage he no longer had patience for. Afternoon sun threw gold into the office, but his reflection was shadow. I couldn't stop all of it then. It's too many places. Too many cowards hiding cruelty behind culture, he said. But I can stop this. Right here. Right now. And I will. Peggy whimpered softly, sounding suddenly small and unimportant, something the world had never asked her to feel. Mr. Lancaster, this bakery is everything we have. My mother built it from nothing. Recipe cards, flour-dusted countertops, night shifts, and courage. Please, don't take it from us, no. Edward turned, slicing the air clean. I'm not taking it from you. You've already destroyed what your mother created. I'm just refusing to quietly finance the ashes. Peggy flinched like the words had hands. But Edward exhaled, a jagged breath of controlled grief. Picking Margaret's photograph up gently and returning to the desk, maybe there is a path back. Maybe integrity can be restored. But not if you leave here unchanged. He slid one sheet of crisp paper across the desk. Peggy clutched it, trembling like winter wind against farmhouse glasspanes. Mitchell leaned over, reading it with him, face storming through denial, shame, devastation, then finally, possibility. Edward tapped the paper twice. No theatrics, just authority. These are my conditions, and your last chance at dignity. Condition 1, you will apologize in person to Evelyn Ford. Face to face. No publicist spin. No typed statements. Just remorse spoken aloud like truth. You will do it in front of her daughter, because children must witness accountability or cruelty becomes their inheritance. Peggy swallowed audibly, nodding, one slow nod soaked in collapse. Condition to you will establish a program called Margaret's Birthday Project. Every month, your bakery will provide 10 free birthday cakes to children in need. Not as charity, but repentance in edible form. Evelyn Ford will coordinate it. She chooses who receives help, not you. Peggy gasped softly. You want her to work with us? After what we did? Yes, Edward interrupted, slicing again, and you will treat her with the respect you should have offered without incentive. Mitchell's voice cracked out like splintering wood. Why involve her at all? Edward rose fully this time, holding Margaret's photograph out like a beacon wrapped in grief and war. Because Margaret fought illiteracy, not humanity. She built bridges, not walls. And if you want redemption, you'll do it her way loudly, lovingly, publicly, without exclusion. Peggy sobbed harder. Not theatrical, just broken, Edward added, leaning forward, voice a low thunder now. Because fate isn't merciful to cowards, Mitchell. And I plan on becoming the inconvenience your fate didn't see coming. Because redemption doesn't happen in isolation. Mr. Thornton, it happens in community, Edward said, voice steady as steel, slicing clean through all remaining excuses. It happens when you sit across from the person you've wronged and build something meaningful together. Mitchell still refused to speak, but his silence was no longer defiance, it was exposure. His posture looked hollowed out now, like a man realizing that power without humanity was just loud cowardice. Edward continued, leaning forward, elbows on the desk, authority sharpening. She deserves to be the one making those decisions. Margaret would have believed the same. Evelyn Ford understands what these families are going through. She's lived it. She carries the weight. You mocked the weight. That alone disqualifies you from holding the scale. Peggy was shaking now, head bent, breath uneven, tears falling without restraint. This wasn't a negotiation anymore. This was penance being drafted by the man who controlled their business future with a single phone call. Third condition, Edward said, tapping a finger on the desk like a judge striking a gavel made of quiet finality. You, Mitchell Thornton, will complete 100 hours of unpaid, unannounced, real community service at the Madison Food Bank, not handing out oversized checks, not doing photo ops in designer suits. No charity galas where donors clap for donors. We'll sort food, stock shelves, pack meal kits, serve dinners, wipe tables, carry boxes until your back aches the way theirs has. You'll do actual work among people you once treated like they didn't matter. Mitchell's lip twitched. A protest tried to climb up his throat, but Edward intercepted it instantly. Frost-chilled truth snapping harder than anger ever could. You threw a child's birthday cake into the trash in front of her eyes. And you did it deliberately to make her mother feel small, to feel powerless. That was not business. That was ego soaked in cruelty. You made a 7-year-old cry on a day she should have remembered fondly. Because you could. Because it made you feel powerful for 5 pathetic seconds. The temperature in the office dropped a degree. Peggy gasped sharply. She had finally understood who Edward's Margaret had been. Not an abstract memory, but a human universe of dignity and grace that they had unknowingly insulted. "You're getting off easy, Mitchell," Edward said. "If it were me then, the clock would have been 24 hours, not 45 days. But Margaret would have said redemption should be possible for anyone brave enough to earn it." Edward stood fully, chair scraping softly behind him, no yelling. "If you complete all 3 conditions within 45 days, he said, I will renew your lease for 10 years. Below market rate, significantly below, because accountability should change your balance sheet. And because redemption, if genuine, should change mine." Peggy clutched the conditions paper like it was oxygen. Mitchell finally spoke, voice graveled and dethroned. 100 hours. "Working with the same people who filed those complaints against us?" "Yes," Edward said. "Not so you suffer, so you understand," Peggy whispered, almost too softly. "We'll do it, both of us. All of it." Edward picked up Margaret's photograph, thumb brushing the frame. "Then don't swear, Mrs. Peggy. Show me." 2 weeks later, the silver Mercedes-Benz pulled into the lot outside Evelyn's apartment building at 3:00 p.m., sharp. Tuesday, no rain, no theatrics, just nerves. Mitchell anchored himself with one final intake of breath and stepped out. The gravel crunched under boots. A sound he wanted them to remember later. The hallway smelled of grease and industrial cleaner, not perfume. Not pastry. Truth has no fragrance but honesty. When they reached for B, Peggy froze mid-knock, body rebelling against guilt. Her arm trembled uselessly until Mitchell reached past and knocked instead. 3 knocks. Real knocks. Not press releases. The door opened. Evelyn Ford stood there in a soft black t-shirt, worn blue jeans, hair pulled into a modest natural bun, eyes tired but alert, chin lifted with earned dignity. Destiny, age 8 now, but still gentle-featured like Margaret once was, stood beside her holding a handmade crayon birthday card too precious to hide. Peggy cracked first, voice spooling remorse like a gasp. "I'm sorry, Evelyn. Not just sorry, ashamed. For what I said, what I allowed, what I thought power looked like, I was wrong, cruel, ugly inside. God knows you and Destiny deserved none of that." Mitchell knelt. "Not dramatic, correct, Destiny?" he said. "I threw your birthday cake in the trash to bruise your mother's pride. That was a weak man choosing to feel tall by making others crawl. I wasn't strong. I was a bully. And bullies are just loud cowards begging to feel big." Destiny didn't flinch, didn't smile, didn't melt. She just nodded and said softly, "Mr. Edwards said you'd come." Mitchell swallowed. Hard. Visible. Destiny placed a small hand over his trembling one. "Mommy says everyone makes mistakes. It's what you do after that matters." A pause. A breath. Then she added, with the accidental wisdom of children, "And birthday cake tastes better when nobody cries before it." Mitchell finally lost the battle with his own face. He broke. Shoulders shaking quietly, sobs silent but seismic. Like every tear Margaret Lancaster had never gotten to shed publicly had decided to pass through him instead. Peggy took his elbow gently. Salvation doesn't slap, it steadies. Evelyn stepped back slightly, letting them inside, not because forgiveness was complete, but because accountability had finally arrived on time. 1 week later, Edward met Evelyn again in his office. He offered her a seat this time. "I'd like you to run Margaret's project," he said. "Part-time, fair pay, health coverage, real influence. You choose the children who get birthday cakes. Because dignity empowers better than shame ever could." Evelyn exhaled, nodding. "Okay," she said. "I'll do it." 1 year later, a community center lunchroom was now a stage, but not for donors, for children. The banner, pink and gold, was hand-lettered by volunteers, uneven but perfect. Margaret's birthday project. Because every child deserves to blow out candles without tasting injustice first. Peggy watched from the audience. Mitchell was somewhere in the back, loading food boxes without needing applause. Redemption doesn't demand a spotlight. It earns one eventually, quietly by accident when nobody's looking. And Edward Lancaster finally smiled, seeing Margaret and every child holding cake instead of every woman who never got one. First anniversary, Evelyn stood at the podium, lights warming her face like sunrise, replacing a long night. The room was filled with people from every corner of Destiny's Math. Nurses, teachers, retirees, students earning credit for bettering the world. Parents who once whispered maybe tomorrow and now live today. In the front row, Destiny, age 8, small for her age but huge in seriousness, sat wearing her youth volunteer badge. She had earned it by choosing colors and cake themes for 6 birthday celebrations that month. The responsibility of joy was now in her hands, and she guarded it fiercely. A year ago, Evelyn began, voice smooth but threaded with iron. I walked into a bakery on Main Street Bakery and asked for an expired cake for my daughter's birthday. I had $11.37 in my pocket. Every penny in the world I owned. Gasps rippled. Not for the amount, for the weight behind it. I walked out humiliated, she continued, eyes sweeping the audience like a lighthouse beam. I didn't know how to pay rent. Didn't he know how to explain to Destiny why her birthday wasn't allowed to taste like celebration? The silence was thick now, sacred. Then a stranger in line saw injustice and acted. He didn't do it loudly. He did it right. She turned her head slightly toward Edward, seated near the back. His flannel and khakis blending with shadows like camouflage for a king who never wanted the crown. Because of him, she said, hand lifting slowly, reverence quiet, 120 children and 120 families have heard the words that once sounded foreign to my life. Your child matters. Your celebration matters. You matter. The applause erupted like thunder reclaiming sound. Peggy wiped tears with a polite silk handkerchief. Mitchell, seated behind her, clapped stiff at first, then softer, then real, each palm strike sounding more like a vow than a protest ever had. After the ceremony, a woman stepped forward from the flow of mingling guests. Mid-30s, professional attire, eyes haunted with a memory she had carried like a hidden bruise. You don't know me, she said, fingers fidgeting nervously at her purse strap, but I was there. That day, in line behind you. Evelyn studied her face. Recognition came like a slow unlock. The one who almost spoke, Evelyn murmured softly. The one who looked away. I thought about your daughter's face every day, Sarah confessed. I didn't say anything loud. I was afraid of causing a scene, afraid of what powerful people like Mitchell might think. Evelyn took Sarah's hand gently. Now forgiveness. Presence. You're here now, Evelyn said. That matters. That same evening, Sarah signed up for volunteer hours with the new initiative, stitching apology into service instead of isolation. At the food bank, Mitchell spent the hours at Madison Food Bank sorting canned goods, stacking soup tins until his wrists burned in the slow revolution of humility. A college student glanced sideways at him. You don't look like the volunteer type. Mitchell paused, a can of green beans in each hand, shame evaporating like morning fog. I did something wrong, he said finally. Really wrong to a mother and her child. And instead of crushing me, someone gave me a chance to get better. So I'm paying the debt in hours instead of headlines. The kid nodded. Takes guts. Owning that truth, Mitchell half smiled. Actually, it took more guts for her to forgive me. At the farmhouse, Edward sat on the porch of his rustic homestead on Saturday afternoon. Margaret's framed photo resting beside him like a quother of the unwritten rules he now enforced. Destiny ran in without knocking. She had stopped asking permission to exist loudly months ago. Mr. Edward, look, she held up a crayon drawing. 2 stick figures. One tall with gray hair, one small in a pink dress. A giant crooked candled cake between them. Above it, Mr. Edward and the magic cake. Edward knelt, holding the masterpiece like it was priceless. This is the most beautiful thing anyone has ever given me. That's how it works, right? Destiny grinned. Someone is nice, then you're nice back. That's exactly how it works, sweetheart. Redemption at the bakery at Main Street. Peggy trained a new bakery hire, a young black girl, 20s culinary school graduate. The nerves of someone stepping into a world older than her resume. You'll make mistakes, Peggy said softly, sincerity replacing hierarchy. Everyone does. What matters is how you treat people while you're learning, especially the ones who look like they can't afford much. The girl nodded. Yes, ma'am, Peggy smiled. Good. Now let's bake cakes for the ones who need candles most. Legacy. Wait. The story had begun with crumbs and denim jeans counted like currency for survival. Now it continued with balloons, community service hours, and cakes delivered without contracts. Evelyn earned influence not by owning buildings, but by owning dignity. Mitchell earned redemption not by defending reputation, but by sorting beans in the basement of consequence. Edward earned legacy not by renewing leases, but by protecting birthdays. This is Fate Tales, where the universe writes justice in blue ink, stamps redemption in gloves and hours, and serves karma with cake instead of whispers. If you loved this story, like, share, subscribe to Fate Tales, because fate isn't always loud. Sometimes it's quiet, patient, and holding a lease file nobody expected.